Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is for the ScienceFantasyFootball.com. I'm going to be doing Snap Report Week 1 and 2 data. This is Part 1, player level scoring, PPR scoring by snaps. I got too many figures to do it all at once. So if you go on the website, I chunk it into 4 segments not to get extra clicks. It's just nobody's attention span can go hours and hours with data intensive analysis. It's just not going to happen. So I probably went overboard preseason with all the stuff that I threw out, and I'm sure most of it probably was not used successfully. It's all I can do. It's my process. This is what I do. There's no money here, folks. Nothing, just fun stuff that I like to do. This is my fun. Okay, so this block of material is looking at PPR scoring. So by snaps. So we're starting to think about consistency levels. If you've looked at my preseason, I have my COM scores, which are counts over median, which is basically weeks of a player above or below the median for that position. Okay, it's similar to the weekly value that our partner in crime DMC does, but it's different. Still beta tested. Don't know if it's as good as Dennis's weekly values, but anyway, I wanted to do the scoring by snaps. Realize that there is a touchdown in here, so that means it's probably choppy data over the season, but I at least wanted us to be aware and try to catch some surprises. I mean, that's the point of data analysis, is not to tell you what you know, right? But to highlight surprises. It's up to you what to do with those surprises. You can just follow along. You can make some and do some actions. It's up to you what you do. I can tell you what I do. Sometimes I watch. Sometimes I use the waiver wire. Sometimes, it may be good for trading or dynasty information. Just depends on what I'm doing. I'm a redraft guy, and I hate to trade. In fact, I play in leagues that don't trade because I think I don't need to compete against people who are good at fleecing the weaker folks out of good players. That makes my job harder, and I'm here to make money, bottom line. So that's what I'm doing, and that's why I don't play in trade only. You're saying, well, you should be a good trader so you can make lots of money. Well, I'm just not interested in winning that way. Okay, first thing, box and whisker plots. If you've been around, you know what the box and whisker can do for us. It's a visualization of a metric across a group of data points, and in this case, QBs by PPR scoring per snap weeks, week 1 and 2 data. So every quarterback that got a snap and is in this population, and you're saying, well, the best quarterback was basically 1 point per snap. It doesn't mean they were, if they had one snap and scored something like Taysom Hill or something, they're going to look good, but they only did one snap. So there is a volume thing, but again, in this chunk of data, I'm just trying to illuminate surprises that are going under the radar. So the main block of the population is in the whiskers. So from about half a point to, this is below, so minus points here. So about 50% of the data is right in the blue box. And the median, I think the median is 0.0215, so if I remember. So I took every quarterback above that median for weeks 1 and 2, and I highlighted in green those players that were doing it both weeks. So players that were showing consistency in 2 weeks, right? Nobody's going to be 100%. Some of the best quarterbacks last year was about 80%. So, but we're just coming out of the chute. I'm going to monitor over the weeks, and we'll still catch the higher consistency quarterbacks. Here we go. Quarterbacks noted, i.e. by green colorization, who scored above league median PPR points per snap weeks 1 and 2. We have a lot of players that did it at least once, and you can see their names, but the doublets, Russell Wilson, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Cousins, Purdy, and Baker Mayfield may be a surprise. So I think 2 or 3 of these are probably and could be a surprise. So if you're in Superflex, if you're looking for some replacements for Joe Burrow this week, if you're in a shadow league, maybe you, Wilson or Baker Mayfield or Purdy, somebody's available. I don't know, probably not, but they might be. Does that mean they're going to be consistent week 3? I don't know, right? If I knew, then I'd be, living in Vegas in the penthouse. So, but this is the data. These are the surprises. You can focus and do your own attention here. Okay, and I'll follow this. Probably, I may do snaps every couple of weeks just to give us some data point building here. So I'll probably do targets next week, because I do like to focus there on targets. But there's the data. And if there's some surprises to you, this will at least get you some education there. So I hope that this helps. Here is running backs, PPR scoring. Here's the distribution. And the top of the whisker, yeah, there's some real, again, if you come in one play and you run a touchdown, you're going to be perfect. So those, that doesn't do us a lot of good. But the whiskers is about 0.07 PPR points per snap. Pretty damn good, to minus 0.04. So there's the whiskers. And again, the box is where most of the people hang out. And the median is 0.249, I think. It may be 2.4. Anyway, I took the median running backs for weeks 1 and 2, threw them in a sheet, and then noticed who were consistent both weeks. In green, here it is, Bijan Robinson, Gus Edwards, and if Hill is out, looks like Gus Edwards, take the bus. Damian Harris may be a surprise. He's not getting the snaps, but when he does in Buffalo, he's making them count. So just, he's a good person to stash if you're a James Cook owner. And of course, Cook is there too. Chuba Hubbard might be a surprise versus Miles Sanders. Okay. Again, we're focusing more on consistency. Rashawn Johnson's showing us something. Mixon, Chubb is gone. So sad. Rico Dowell and Tony Pollard. Seems to me Rico is somebody you should stash. He's showing early consistency, and he's widely available. Javonte Williams, Gibbs, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If Pachenko or somebody is hurt, it seems to me there's you another good stash that could turn into something. Again, we're just talking first couple weeks. This is for us to focus right? Continuing, Kyron Williams, Moster, Ty Chandler. Even though Akers is there, that may blow that up, but there it is. Ramonde Stevens, Boston Scott, don't forget him. Jaylen Warren versus Najee. Isn't that interesting? Walker, McCaffrey, Henry, Brian Robinson. So a lot of these are usual suspects, but there's a few surprises in here. And so then, since it is running backs, and I know a lot of us did 0 RBs, I've got 38, 39 leagues, almost 40, and I did my fair share of less running backs, early wide receiver drafting, let's call it that. And so who is in the top 25%? That would be at the top of the box to the whisker, right in there. And, of course, it's going to get thin, and sure enough, but surprising, Damian Harris is still there. Again, I know, well, how did that happen? He's getting enough snaps that he's bringing home the points. And I'm just, he's not worth starting, but he's worth rostering. So scoring more. Gibbs is doing better than you might think. CMC and Henry. That's it. So the first 2 weeks, we have super consistent players at an extreme level here. So I think this is really, really interesting. Tight ends, same kind of thing. Here's the whiskers. Of course, we got some really stellar tight ends, but notice the best tight end is 0.6. So tight ends are never bringing home like an extreme running back situation. Look at the top of the whisker, 0.37. And you're saying, well, how can that be? What that is most tight ends don't score any points. Okay, so in this population, we got a lot that are blocking and are just not active. So really, if I went through the data and threw out the 0, this box would look a lot different, but we're still playing the game just like this. And who's above median? Zach Ertz. I have squawked about him in best ball but way back in our podcast, and I can say he needs to be rostered in deep benches. I've got him in where I can put him up. Kylan Grayson is another one that I have squirreled away. Ingram's probably not available. If you own Hawkinson, you better squirrel Josh Oliver away. You've heard it here first. He's been doing a lot with the little. Hunter Henry, I think that surprises out of the bag. Waller, of course. Disley might be somebody that you're a little tricked on, but he's been more consistent than Fant. And Cole Turner at Washington, even though Logan Thomas is back and Bates, we'll see how that plays, but Turner could be another potential stash. So that's it. So a lot of these are not your usual suspects, but remember Andrews and Kelsey did not play week 1, so they're not on the radar yet in this method of testing here. Okay, wide receivers, again, the same thing. The top of the whisker, 0.06, so almost above half a point per snap, and minus 0.08, so basically really sucky here. So extreme suck and extreme greatness here, but these are probably, scoring a lot but low volume, so that doesn't help us. Basically, you're getting about 2 points, 0.17, so close to 0.02 points. So 5 snaps getting you a point on the wide receivers we like to take note of. Here they are, big list. A lot of these, right? Zay Flowers is real. Diggs, Lamb, Sutton, maybe a surprise. Josh Reynolds, folks, I got him everywhere I could. There he is. Reed is coming on. Okay. Again, people are probably on. Collins is there. Robert Woods so far has been a very interesting surprise And in deep bench, you may want to squirrel him away. I just don't know his upside, but there it is. Here's Pittman. Justin Watson at KC has been consistent in 2 weeks. Nobody else is consistent except Rajee Rice has been consistent. So we got some lower level running backs in that fleet of wide receivers in KC that are consistent. Maybe that is noted and these guys get more opportunities. So that may be something to consider. Keenan Allen, Puka, everybody's aware. Tutu Atwell, who would have thought? That's another surprise. Ultimate consistency there. Curious how this data goes when Cup's back. Devontae Adams. Berrios may be a surprise. Look at Miami. Waddle, Ravencroft, Tyreek Hill. Almost 4 main wide receivers there are above median of the league. So they are rocking and rolling in Miami. If Waddle doesn't play, I saw something on Twitter, you never know, says he's tending to be out. In daily fantasy, maybe Carcraft or whatever, Carcraft, whatever. Berrios, maybe you get those or something. I don't know. Addison and Jefferson. So Osborne flashed last week. We'll see. Demario Douglas in New England. Juju hasn't showed us a little bit last week. Bourne. So there's a lot of New England activity here. Note that. Olave, Thomas, and Rashid. Okay, Rashid probably needs to be rostered for injury. You figure with Thomas, how long is he going to be able, he's probably going to miss a few weeks. So Rashid may be a plug and play there. Continuing, Garrett Wilson. Everybody's talking about Zach. All I'm saying, he's above league median. Devonta Smith versus A.J. Brown. Isn't that interesting? Metcalf, Ayuk, Samuel. If Ayuk is out, maybe Juan Jennings is the guy. Mike Evans, Hopkins, Westbrook Akina. There he is, Tennessee. Wake up, folks. And this Traylon Burks is a mistake, so ignore that. Okay, that is this block of information. 17 minutes of almost 18 running my mouth. Thanks for listening. I got the other blocks coming, but we'll get this up and out today, Thursday. Woo woo, we're having fun.